Hello guys, welcome to the Economy Hut. Today I came with a new topic that is goods service tax, in short which is called as GST. Now we will see the details of this topic. Now let's start with the topic. First of all we will see the introduction part. In the introduction part, first of all we will take an example like Aarti and her friends had booked tickets to see the latest movie in a new theater. Now the security checked their belongings and told them to go to the next floor for the movie. Now, when they went to the third floor, the security over there told them that mid-level checking happens at the first floor for everyone, irrespective of the movie people are here to watch. They decided to watch the movie when it came out on any OTT platform. We know that Indian taxes are of two types, that are direct and indirect taxes. Now, first of all, we'll start with the indirect tax. Now, in indirect tax are called indirect as the customer do not pay the tax directly to the government. This tax is charged on the seller of goods and services, who then passes it to the customer by adding tax on the products and services. Now, in case of direct tax, this tax is charged directly or imposed directly on the individual. But in case of indirect taxes, are the indirect tax are charges for the consumptions of products and services. Now, in the next point, on 1st July 2017, with the introduction of the goods service tax or GST. Now, this goods service tax tried to bring all the above mentioned indirect taxes under one umbrella and made the tax administration easier. Now, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while launching this tax called GST, Good and Simple Tax, which is the motto of the GST, is One Nation, One Tax. It is actually the motto of this GST. So let's see the next part. In the next part, we will see the goods services tax meaning and types. Now, in this part, we will see that the goods and services, that is GST, is an indirect tax as the government does not directly collect it from people, but it is imposed on the seller of the good or services. So the goods part of GST means all the goods that you could buy like food, clothes, online products, electronics, etc. And the services means all the services that you avail like transportation, etc., which are taxed by the government. Now, in case of GST is also a destination based tax, as tax revenue is collected by the state or place where the goods are consumed. Now, let's take an example that if potato chips made in Kerala and sold in Maharashtra, GST will be collected by the Maharashtra government. So by the value added, we mean that when a product is being manufactured, it goes through several stages that add money value to it. So this is all about the meaning of goods and services and their types. So let's see the next part. Now we will see the types of goods and services tax. Now, here there are four types of goods and services tax or GST. They are actually central GST, state GST, union GST and integrated GST. let's let us discuss each type in further detail. So let's start with the central goods and services. Now, this tax is collected when commodities and services are exchanged inside the state's borders. Now, the central governments and service tax or CGST is the proportion of the tax which goes to the government. Now this is all about the central goods and services. Now let's see the next one, state goods and services. Now this tax is collected when commodities and services are exchanged inside the state borders. Now the state goods services tax or SGST is the portion of the funding money goes to the state government. Now let's see the next part, integrated goods and services. Now it is something calculated when products and services are exchanged between Indian states or between India and any foreign jurisdiction. Now this tax is split between federal government and the state government in the area where in which the products or services were purchased. Now the integral goods and services, also called as IGST in short, is the name for this. Now let's see the next one. The last type of GST or goods and service tax, that is union goods and service tax. Now when goods and service tax are exchanged inside the union area, then the tax is calculated. Now the union goods and services tax or UGST is the portion of the tax that goes to the union territory governments. So this is all about the types of goods and services tax. So let's see the next part. Now we will see the example of goods and service tax. Now, Ankita works in the field of education and resides in Maharashtra. She instructs students who are preparing for IIT JEE exams. Now she gives online lectures and sells written notes from such talks. Now when a Maharashtra student orders a note, the product is subject to both state and central GST. The student, on the other hand, will not have to repay them individually. The whole sum is gathered from the student and the tax office distributes it between the central and the state government. Now GST works in the same way to interstate transfer of goods. Now if a student wants Ankita's notes but lives in Tamil Nadu, then integrated GST is charged for interstate transfer of goods. Now the total amount is collected from the student. The student and the tax authority divides amount between the central and the state where the goods are delivered. So this is the example of the goods and service tax. So let's see the next part. In the next part we will see the advantages and disadvantages and the goods and services. This is GST's advantages and disadvantages are really a very known topic to us and GST was introduced to us. So let's see. Actually it was the controversial topic. So let's see. First of all we will see the advantage of this goods and services tax, which is also called as GST. Now goods and services tax made tax evasion more difficult since surveillance system is centralized, making it simpler to catch defaulters. Now all indirect next point, the all indirect tax have been consolidated under goods and service tax. Simplify the tax structure for enterprises. Now we will see the next point. Now in the next point, the procedure of the goods and service tax is completed entirely online. So this is now one of the plus point, that online on online services, which is really an helpful thing. Now filing taxes, registering and generating e-way bills, and all simple tasks that may be completed without difficulty. So let's see the next point. Next, in the next point, GST or goods and service tax has resolved the problem of tax cascade. Now people had to pay tax on tax at each and every stage of the sale before GST. Now these are the advantages of this GST, goods service tax. Now we will see the next part, the disadvantages of goods and services tax. Now in this case we will see many small enterprises are still unaccustomed to contemporary technology. Now this GST is an internet tax system and small business having hard time adapting this digital environment. So really it's for the small businessman is really it's difficult, this GST process. Now the business may require the assistance of the tax specialist to compile with all GST laws, raising their operational expenses. Now the next part, the business do not comply with the GST are subject to server fines. Now in case of small and medium sized business will have to keep track on their digital document, invoices and tax returns on a regular basis. Now the GST scheme has become a nuisance for many business. Now the last point of the disadvantages, that is accounting software, that is GST compliant is required for business. Now this necessity of software upgrades on a regular basis. So this is all about the advantages and disadvantages of the goods and service tax, that is GST. Now we will see the next part. In the next part we will see the goods and service tax slabs. Now what a tax, we will see this tax slabs of this. Now there is a five level or 5 tier tax structure in this GST or goods and service tax. So there are 1300 goods and 500 services included in this 4 slabs. Now we will see what exactly tax slab is. Actually it means a group of income on which is charged and fall within the range with upper and lower limits. So this is all about the tax slabs. Now these are 5 tax slabs are 0.25%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. These are the 5 tax slabs. Now let's see the next one. Now in 0.25% tax slabs, jewelry item covered. Now in this 5% tax slabs, household items covered. Now in this 12% tax slabs covers processed food, means which we get from the restaurant, and also the computer accessories, which processed food and computer accessories falls in this 12%. Now in the 18% covers the industrial goods, and in 28% tax slabs mostly covers luxurious items and services. So in the next part we will see chart this chart, that is on 0.2. It will be easier to get this thing clear. In this chart, in 0.25% there will be jewelry items like diamonds and semi-precious stones, and polished is in 0.25%. Now in 5%, household items, life-saving drugs and services, and air transport, newspaper, printing, etc. Now in this 12%, processed food, computer products and service like rail transportation, etc. Now in case of 18% is industrial and capital goods, services like restaurants, catering, business, entertainment, hotel accommodation, etc. So this is all about this GST tax slabs. Now we will see the conclusion. Now we will conclude now. Now for concluding it, we will see the conclusion. Now the goods and services tax, which is GST, that went into the effect on 1st July 2017, as we all know, is none short of a tax revolution in India. Now it's an indirect tax that's taken the place of a variety of other indirect tax that made the system more convoluted and unclear by its one central tax, that is GST, has established an united market. Now through this GST has a number of flaws, such as a broad list of exclusions for goods and services. It also has certain advantages. Now GST has aided in lowering the tax cascade effect. It's broadening the tax base, minimizing tax evasion, and bringing India's economy closer to reality. So this is all about this topic. So guys, if you have any questions related to economics and finances, just feel free to ask us through comments. We are always happy and humbled to discuss on the topics mentioned by our viewers. So feel really free to ask any doubts about economy to us through comments. And thank you for listening. Stay tuned till the next video. Thank you so much for listening and staying with us.